Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to clone the Godot side scroller and go through adding the setup for Godot. Now I've got my one mic going, so I should be all fine this time. So I can go into the Godot side scroller, and as you can see in here, it says I have to do all of these tasks and add a character body with an idle and some sort of gravity process to it. So let's get underway. Now this aspect comes from Itch and particularly Brilov, so if you want to grab that, it's all good. To do this, what I need to do is, I see there's been 14 forks. I will fork this as well. I should pick the Simon, this one here, because that would be the one I would be submitting to. There is already an example of it there, so I'm going to go side scroller 2 to make it different. And fork project. Oh, please try again. Okay. Scroller new. What did I do wrong? An error code, please try again. Okay. I should be able to do it that way. Full project. Something broke. What broke? And why did it break? Side scroller. New. Please select the namespace. Okay, yeah, I selected the Simon, and it's internal, and I've given it the slug new, and I fork project. An error code will please try again. Weirdness. Okay. Let's clone it to somewhere else, and just straight to my directory. Okay. It probably because it already had a clone that was already forking and pointing back to it, so it didn't want to do that. So I've now cloned it, which means I've got my own version of it. Forked it rather, so I've got my own version of it. If you've directly cloned it, you can directly clone it and change it. It's just the problem is you then need to update your remote, which you can do by in your repo. You can add a different remote to a get repo, and by adding the remote you can then push it to either the origin, which you wouldn't be able to because I own it, or you could push it to the new remote that you added. So now you can have two remotes from the same project. So, and if you want to get rid of the origin and set origin to being the second remote, then that's possible too. What we'll do is we'll clone in Visual Studio HTTPS, and I'll open Visual Studio Code. And I'll again put it into here and under 252. And this is the old one. So what we're going to do is create a new repo here, a new folder, and call it testing. And I'll go inside that and then go select this repo destination. It's done that. I open a new window and bang, we've got a new window. And here's the project. You'll see that it will go, so this has just got those original tile sets there. And it's trying to connect down the bottom, right? Like down there, underneath me. So yes, there. It's trying to connect. That connection will fail because I currently don't have the Godot open, so it will bring me up an error shortly unless I start the Godot engine. When it brings me up an error, I can go open Godot engine editor, and it will now open my Godot 4 editor. Otherwise, I could have just opened the Godot 4 editor directly, and it would have connected to it. So here is the Godot 4.0 editor. I can see we've got these tile set is here, so I can see the tile set directly above me up here. So what I'm going to do is we look back at the repo to say, well, what did it say I needed to do in the repo? Create a tile map and create the ground. So create a tile map. Doesn't really tell me what to do, but if I go up here and go add child and go tile, it says, oh, you've got this thing called tile map. Let's add one of them. So what do I need to do in tile map? There's a tile set. And if I have a look, it says import the oak wood into the tile editor. Create a tile and create the ground. I also have to create a tile set and go new tile set. So I probably should put that in the comments. And that tile set is now the tile set that I click on, and I can see I've got a tile set, and the tile set has no source configuration, so it hasn't got any textures, but it's the new tile set. And if I grab the oak woods and drag it into the, oh, nope, I'm not doing that. I've got to click on tile set and then drag the oak woods into there. Right, so when I've clicked on tile set, it comes up with tiles here, and then I've clicked on the when it had tiles, I dragged that in here. It created the atlas texture was modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles on this atlas? The answer is I'm going to get a no because I haven't set the tile sizes up properly. So I'll go no for now. Now I know that these are 24 by 24, so I need to grab those in at that scale. Oh, I need to go back to my tile map. So that's 24 by 24. And now when I look at the tiles, I've got those, and you've got tile map down here, and you've got tile set. So I've got a tile set, and what I want to do is it's regular at 24 by 24. And so I've got these, oh, and you can see I'm zoom in. We zoom in on this. That's not a tile I want, so I delete that tile. So here I'm now saying, well, okay, I've got these tiles. They all look 24 by 24. That looks great. What am I going to do? What I do is, if I zoom out, I need to select the tiles that I want to be in my tile map. Now, the tile map means these are the tiles that I can use in the world. So we'll get some of them, and I'll get some of these because some of those are needed. And I've got one of these. You could go through and select all of the tiles that are relevant to you, and this is a large tile map, but I'll do that for the moment. And now when you go to tile map, you see, right, I've now selected some of these. And if we zoom in here, we can see that I have a tile map set up here, and I can look at saying, okay, well, I want, nope, so let's see, we've got tile map, add collisions to tiles by painting the physics layer object to the tiles. Okay, so how do I do physics layers? I need to say that this tile map, right, so this is still in the tile map here, I need to say the tile map has physics layers. So I'm going to add a physics layer. This physics layer up here means that, directly above me, sort of there, that tile map means that it will be able to collide with things on layer 1. Right? And I'm not going to worry about adding new and loading new physics materials and things. I'm just going to say it's a physics collider. And then over here we have the different things we can do, right, to these tiles. If we go to the tile set, you can see we've got, so this is the tile map where I'm going to add them into here, and the tile set, which is what I was editing here and saying this is a physics layer. Now with paint, I can add a paint layer 0 because this is the physics layer 0 that I just added. So I can do physics layer 0, and it says, oh, you can paint squares. So let's just paint squares over those ones and squares over these ones. And I think if I go shift, I can paint all of them. No, I can't. Okay. I think if I just paint, I can drag and I paint those. And then, oh, actually that one probably could go like that and just have a wee miss on that top edge, so it's not quite matching it. Here I go like this and I say, oh, that's not quite what I want. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of that, and if I put that on the same place, I think it, oh no, it doesn't disappear. There'll be a right click, yep, that will make it disappear. So this now has just the triangle of the collision. though it doesn't quite look right. It might have to be just a little bit up so it doesn't quite collide. So that's now that one. So when you click on it, you still have to adjust these to align with the tiles so that you get the physics collision properly. And there I'll pass slightly into the before I collide. And then you have to re-click on the one you're doing. So I'll just swap that down and say that's what that one looks like. And go click on you. And for you, I'll come down to here and down to here and go click. Right, so now I've got some tiles with some physics collisions. Let's have a look. What I need to do next is use the tiles to place on the ground area. So that's where I go now to tile map. And in the tile map, I go, right, I want to place this. And let's put that one, oh, actually I'll grab that one and go there. And now I can just drag along 4 away. And then I'm going to go that one there and that one there, and scroll down a little, that one there, and grab the other one and go bang, bang. And then I think I need to grab one of these and put it there. So it's one of these that has the top corner properly so it lines up nicely. But there we go, we've got a slope, and now I can add another block of flat and one more of those. Bang. One of them. And what I'll do is I'll just add a wee stop at the end and a stop at the end there, and that could be our wee level. And it's got collision set up because in the tile set I set these up to have physics layer 1 collision. So that's what that is there. So I can save that, hit go, and I have a little wee area there. Now it's quite small, so I probably want it to be slightly bigger, so I might have to change a camera at some point, but what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll see, right, I've got clones, now create character 2D, boom, let's go for that. So I go here and go character 2D, so add a child, character body 2D. This is a character, it's been placed, if we look, it's been placed here because you can see it's got the wee character body 2D just sitting next to the name there. And if I click on it, I can actually go right click and move node to here, right? So let's move the node to here so it's away from that start position, so that's where it's going to be. It's saying, hey, you're not anything. This warning message is telling me you've not got any shape or body connected to you. There's no shape. So there's no collision. So what I need to do is need to add child and do a it's a 2D collision object 2D. So actually that one, so I should have gone collision. Okay, it's not going to let me click it because it collision shape. Should we do polygon or a shape 2D? We'll just go with shape 2D. It's the easiest one. So this is now shape 2D. Up above me here, I've got to do the actual shape. We often will use the pill because the capsule is one of the easier ones to manage when you're moving physics around. That still now has a collider shape, but it has no script attached to it, and it has no sprites attached to it. So I need to create a animated sprite 2D child. So under this, and I can probably put it actually under the character 2D or under the collision, doesn't really matter, but I'll add a child and we'll call it animated sprite 2D and go create. All good now. So we're adding that animated sprite. I'll just check that the Discord isn't saying no one's joined me in the room. That's all good. So I've got this animated sprite that's saying, hey, yeah, but you want an animated sprite, but you haven't added any 2D elements to it, right? So it'll say must be created on the frames property in order for the animated sprite to display frames, right? So a sprite frame resource. So this has a sprite frame resource and new sprite frames. and click on those, and it goes, okay, so you've got a sprite frames. That's the new sprite frames you just added, and it's where the resource comes from. And there's nothing in here at the moment. So what I need to do is I need to grab in from my character some of these IDs. So what I'm going to do is I will bring in my idle facing right and drop that into the and call that idle. So that is now the idle animation, and I'll drop in my frames in here. And now I go, oh, that doesn't look good. Because that's playing the whole idle. So I need to go into here and actually grab a character and go, well, actually, I want the idle facing right. And I need to break this up into horizontal 6 and vertical 1. And that should get me all of those, and then I can go, and then I have to select which ones I want, and I want them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So I just drag across. I can add 6 frames. Now, this initial frame, that's broken. I need to get rid of it. So it's that wee thing there that gives me the add animation frame. I now have 5 idle frames, and I should be able to play, and you can see that wiggles up and down. It's at 5 FPS. That's fine. So let's see, what does the Godot want me to do now? So I've created sprite frames, used the waffle button to add the sprite frames, done that, and name the animation, done that. Create a collidable 2D shape. Oh, actually, I did that first. Haha, I'm ahead of myself. Add a script to the character 2D body that looks something like this. So I'm going to go that, I'm going to copy and go back into here, and I can just stop that. And in the character 2D body, I go the attach script, and actually I'll go cancel, and I'll rename this and rename it to being player, and that way it's a wee bit easier. When I go attach script, it'll say it wants player game to script, and I can go create. And because I've hooked them up, it creates it and shows me in Visual Studio. You can edit it in the script editor. And because this is already a 2D shape, it's got a whole bunch of stuff it knows about itself. And you can see that it's already got a constant speed and a jump velocity added. So this is all default that gets added when you click on add a character sprite. And so it has move and slide, and it has all of these things, including velocity update delta. So it's got a physics update. It doesn't have anything about changing from idle. So if we have a look here, there, you can see I was saying on ready, do idle, and the physics process was gravity and delta. So here it's got, it's added gravity, which is using a 2D settings of gravity, which is better than just setting gravity yourself, and a jump velocity. But what I wanted to do is get it to say on ready, play idle. So I'll copy that, and it doesn't, because it doesn't have a ready, it just has the physics update. So let's go on ready, play idle, and save that, and go back to the Godot engine and press play. Oh, it had an error. So close program. Oh, Godot engine's not responding. Okay, that's all right. So it gave me an error that said avatar not found. So I was saying avatar.play. I think it's actually, I've called it animated 2D sprite 2D. Right? So that's the name of this thing. I could copy that name and just say, well, I'm going to be really boring and just copy that name and put it into this script, because the script wanted to know the child's name. So if I do that, then that gives me the actual thing that it's connected to. So now I should be able to play, and Let's see whether it gives me the same error. No, it didn't. Now, you see I've got that, it's hard to see that guy and he's inside. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add a camera. But what I'll do is I'll actually add the camera under the player so it follows the player. And so what that does is add child camera 2D, bang, and go create. I then want to actually give the camera a size, and it's not going to be there. It's now here. You can see it all connected to the same place. Under these camera properties, it's what I need to change is not offset. It's if I scale out, yes, you can see the purple is the camera size. So limits are position, rotate. So where is size? Transform scale. I've forgotten where. Find property. Nope, not size. X. Width. Ratio. Okay, I've changed this before, but I'll have to try and find out how to change it again. So it's not any of those. It's definitely going to be over here, and I can move that. So it's not the offset because that's going to be an offset. Actor. Rotate, enabled, zoom. Zoom, that's what it's called. 0.2. Okay, no, it's zooming in. So I'll zoom to that scale. So I'll zoom to 3. Now when I press play, bang, I will get it much longer. Now you can see he's fallen into the ground. Why has he fallen into the ground? Well, if we go in close, we can see that, I didn't set my collision and my sprite position correctly. So what I'll do is I'll move my sprite up so he's standing in so the sprite is about standing on the base. Now when I press play, and I believe that was the sprite, yes, that's the animated sprite that I've moved up, and so now when I press play, he'll fall and be standing in about the right place. That is now a character falling, standing in the right place. I would want to then add additional responses to moving left and right. But if we have a look at what I said I was going to do here, extend the script to use keyboard and press move and add a parallax background. When we extend the script to add movement, so if we go back to that one, so this is the player script. It's got the processing, it's var direction, get input, access left and right, F direction, go to speed, move forward, move towards X and Y. So this is UI left and right. At the moment, I believe if I go to UI left and right, and so we press play, I haven't got those, but I have got the arrow keys, right? So UI left and right are the arrow keys, and space was added as a jump character. So I've got that got baked in immediately. So I've got those, but I'm not, changing my sprite to manage that. What I probably want to do is have my sprite face the right direction, right, when I go back and forth, but also add a new sprite. So what we'll do, we'll go to add a new sprite. So when I go animated sprite 2D, and I go sprite frames, and come down here and go animation, sprite frames, I mean. So rather than animation, I'm in sprite frames. So in sprite frames, I go, well, I want to do another one here. So I thought I could right click and just add, but obviously I just need to go. What did that do? Sprite frames, new animation. So let's call that run. And here, so under there and under run, I can go bang and say I want to use the run facing right. go open. And again, it's now an 8 by 1. And go like that. And that gives me 56 by 56, and I select all of those frames and go add 8 frames, and I've now got 8 frames. I could drag in frames. If I had individual frames here, I could be dragging them in, but I don't need to because I can use that sprite sheet editor button. So that now is going to be run an idle so that I can edit those. Now I think those are, so here we can add empty frames. There is a setting for flipping. I will have to remember what the flip is. So there is a flip, speed scale, frame 0 is normal, transform, rotation, scale, skew. There, yeah. So we can make it. I can leave it for the moment, but I can look it up, and there's a way that you can, if you're flipping one way, you just tell it to use the direction and flip the direction of the system. So what we do here is direction times speed, and we have these, and so what I do is if direction, now it's using direction as an input of the get axis, right? So in get axis is the connection of which direction you're going, and so what I do is if the direction is positive, so you would move towards, and so I could set animation as run because it's believing that that's probably what the thing I was wanting to next do was going to be, and here is, I can probably have it work out from GitHub Copilot. Come on, Copilot. Oh no, I don't want to deactivate you. I just want you to give me a animated sprite idle. That looks good. So, oh, actually, no, that's if it's going positive, it's going to go that way. If it's going that way, it's going to go the other way. So I still want that to be run because if it's going left, I probably want idle. So I want run, and here I'd actually want to play run, and there is probably a new animated sprite TD, animated sprite TD, dot direction. Is there a face? There was something that popped up just then. So let's go Control Enter, which gives me solutions from GitHub Copilot. It's only giving me play idle. So yeah, but we can have it play run. There is a way of making it point in the other direction. So if I'm using Copilot, what I could do is say hash set the direction of the animation of the sprite. So if I set the direction of the animation of the sprite to the direction of the movement, that sounds like good. Now now it should give me a haha if velocity is that flip H, otherwise not flip H. So that's what I needed to do, and actually if I just grab that and go X after direction, that allows me to go, aha, I have a way of setting oh, it's all broken because it's gone. If velocity X, now I haven't actually set velocity X is greater than 0. So so what I want to do is probably use direction times speed is greater than 0. So I'll just copy that and go direction times speed less than 0 and direction times speed greater than 0. And we'll flip and we'll just see what happens when I do that. So we'll save that and we'll go back to Godot and hit play. And I'm now constantly in running. But you can see now it flips in the right direction. At least that flip H is there and it's staying, and when I jump that's okay. It's just constantly in the run animation. So what I'd need to do is say something like if speed is greater than 0.1 and or speed is less than 0.1, and then in here do an else. And can you guess? Yes, it can guess that. Well, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to set play idle. So here I want it to play idle if it's between those, and then here this playing of run would only happen if direction is positive and greater than 1, right? So if direction is positive and greater than 1, then I would play the run animations rather than have them run all the time. Though I need to still have this move towards if the direction is already kind of velocity 0 and then set speed, so I need to kind of the move towards to still be that way. So here I'd do probably take that out and do that and make it run in there if the direction times speed is greater than that, and take that out and put it in here. Now this is all very hacky. Of course you could do a lot of better stuff than that to make it in the right places and make it run smoothly, but if I do that, let's see if this works. So it's not working. At least it understands right, but then it always wants me to be facing left all the time. So I've obviously overdone one of these flips and one of the run animations. So there'll be something I'll need to do in here to make that, to solve that. But that will require some debugging and making sure that I've got my play and run correctly and my white space set up correctly. Is that running there correctly? So did I put that in the wrong place? Nope, it's not that one. Okay. Well, I'll keep moving forward because it's already getting later. So the last thing I wanted to do, or a couple other things. So we've got the movement added, keyboard, and add a parallax background. So let's go up to here and say add node parallax layer. So I'm looking to add a parallax scrolling to use with parallax background. Now I don't want to add the parallax layer until I've added the parallax background. So parallax background is, where are you, parallax background? Parallax background, all right, way back, way down here. So because you add a parallax background, and where it should be, there we go. So I add a parallax background, and then within the parallax background, I add child layer of parallax layer. Now the parallax layer will be how I add my individual background sheets to this, because I've got these backgrounds here. And if we have a look at parallax layer, it has motion is node 2D, and its transform canvas, and what I'm doing is I'm not going to worry about the script at the moment, and then the parallax layer, I think if I grab do I add a sprite 2D to this sprite 2D, I believe, correct? So I'm doing this for the first time. And texture, let's grab background texture and whack it in there, and we'll use, which of these should we use? I think we do the far background is layer 1. So I'm going to put that into texture layer 1. And then in the parallax layer, I can have the mirroring. Where is the ordering? Texture, filter, repeat is mirror, I believe, and Z orders is fine. Motion, mirroring. Sorry, it's not down there. I don't need to turn mirroring on down there. No, we can use repeat mirror. That's going to be fine. But here, I need to know the width of this in pixels. And if I'm right, where I look it up, where do we have the details of that? Double click on it. It's 320. Okay. So for the layer, I set the mirroring at 320. And that creates a double width. Now this is way over here. So this parallax background, I probably want to center it. So I probably want to center it a bit closer to him, rather than which, you know, it's actually that's okay. He's kind of halfway through. I'll put it over top of where he starts, and the thing is, when I've got vertical movement as well, it will look a bit strange. But if I add that, what you'll find is that is just now acting as a texture, and it doesn't actually. Oh, you can see it. I still see the front edge of it, right? So you can see that clipping, and I can, because this scene is a bit wider than that frame. So what I'd need to do is actually set my camera to say, "Oh, camera, I'm sorry, my camera." Because of my background is now too wide. So instead of being that wide, where I have to find my zoom of 3, I need to make my zoom a bit 3.5. Has that made my camera smaller? Camera 3.5. Yes, but you can just see that I haven't quite aligned it properly because I've got that wee flick going on there, whereas I don't have it on the other side. So that's what I'd need to make sure that this parallax layer was offset so that it didn't quite see that hassle there. So if I do play, I can move. Yep, I can move that way, and I can. Oh, and you can see I just saw when I got too far, and if I die off the bottom, it's just going to go wham and disappear. So you can see that repeat. You've got to get this long enough to be overlapping, but it's going to keep going left and right and repeat back and forth. Now that was moving at the same speed as me, so that doesn't look like it's in the distance. It looks like it's connected to me because I'm moving with it. I need to scale its movement, but before I do that, I'll add another parallax layer. Parallax layer with another sprite 2D. And go create. So now I've got this layered approach. I've got a second parallax layer, which is going to be my midground. The sprite that I'm going to add to that one is going to be this this one here, and that gets whacked into there. And again, I need to get that layer put in the right place. So I was putting it, let's put it there to be perfectly overlapping with the other one. And again, and I moved those layers to being in the same places. I hope. What's that? Oh, that's the parallax layer. And I moved the sprite. Ah, no, I might have moved the sprite accidentally. So, yes, that was me moving the sprite. Okay, so that's not great. I probably should have been trying to move the parallax layer rather than the sprite. But now I need to do move node here. So that's now put my two layers in, I believe, the same place. Yep, so that's parallax layer. So we'll put those both there. And then in the parallax layer, I'm again having mirroring at 320 so that it flips it. And now when I look at my movement, this is motion, so I'm gonna scale. And so if I scale it to 0.5 for this layer, and for the background layer, the very far background, I'll do it at 0.2. So that will make that background layer move in more slowly. And so let's press play. And now if I move back and forth, you can see that they are moving at different speeds. And this layer isn't moving at the same speed as the foreground. It's not moving with me, it's now actually staying in the background and giving that parallax effect. As you can see that this is changing at different speeds, and I can see different trees in the background. So that gives me my parallax effect. Right, okay, so parallax effect done. You can add more layers of parallax. You might need to add a bigger background, particularly if you're going to jump. You can see the parallax is doing its job to do jumping. And so that's probably okay, but the falling down slopes and things is going to be a problem because you're going to open up these gaps and you're going to have that sliding up and down. So you need to build much larger backgrounds and have a much bigger effect for your parallax if you're going to use parallax in the background. You can also lock the Y and things so that it doesn't, and I have no idea what happens when I mirror Y. Haha, you get trees that go below the ground. So I see ground trees. And I could say, well, actually, that's a problem. I really do want mirroring on. If I turn on mirroring, and here, let's see if I just disable. Actually, I haven't played with that enough to know to see what it's going to do to it. But yeah, so that would, if you had a generic tile, you might be able to do that and might be able to run up and down. But that's another thing. Right, okay, so, the last thing I'll do is say, well, I've got all of that. I'll turn that one, I'll remove the Y thing because I don't actually need. Okay, I said remove it, and I did, but I didn't press enter. Oh, 0. There we go. So now I have all of that set up. Do we have anybody? Nope, no one said anything in the stream. So I have that set up, and now if I close that, I can save and close. And what I have in the Visual Studio Code is that it says, oh, look at you, you've changed the player script from being nothing, and the gameplay, I've added all of this information about physics and layers and where things are and all that. So it's added quite a bit. I can then add all of those to the stage changes. So this is, if you click there, you get all of the stage changes. So I staged all those. And here I can say set up done and go commit. Now I've committed those to main. I could have gone here and created a branch, and so create branch with updates, let's say player. So the I'm in the wrong place. I'm not going to create an empty commit. So here I will I'll remove that, and I'll remove that. So that would be publish branch would be pushing the branch layer to the remote, right? So I've made that change. I've created a branch. So if we have a look at the, we'll see what it has interpreted on here when I go reload. I should have a player and a default branch. The default branch actually has the doesn't have, so it's all got that as being 2x old. But because I published the branch, if I go to that branch, you'll see that it has the additional Godot script, right? This player Godot script is 1 minute ago and the game set up 1 minute ago. So now my main has got nothing and player has the interesting stuff in it, right? So you can now have two different branches. I haven't screwed up main. And if I wanted to, as you can see, I'm one ahead of the upstream repository. But if I want to merge into, see, this has got the same. If I go into player, and I think I can create a merge request into from here. So I've got those, and you've got player and you've got main in these branches, so a new merge request. This new merge request will be a merge request from here, this new merge, into main. So if I go new merge request, a new merge request, and title, set up finished. So I'll say it's finished, and it will be all done. And I can assign who's supposed to create, to accept it, and I can go that, and I can go create merge request. So that's a merge request from the side scroller into main. Okay, so just now. Then someone else will be able to go, okay, I see your merge request, and we've got approval was optional. We could have set it up so approval was required, and I can delete the source branch, squash the commits, or do that. So I'll just go merge. Lift off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, merged. Now, having merged that into main, when I go back to my project overview, I will have just main. It's the default branch, and there are my. So if I have a look at that, I've done merge requests. I can look at the branches, and it says, no, that's the only branch you've got at the moment. If I look at commits, I can see that I've got a merge. I've got setup done has come in, and I've then merged. Right, so that's the two commits that have just come in, and with that setup done, I can see that it was the branches containing commits and what was changed. Right, so that's should be all I need to do, and then of course, you know, if I was submitting, I could submit using this new. Well, actually, I couldn't use this one because it's not in the submission location. It's in the I put that in the wrong place. I put it in Go Scholar rather than into the fork that I had created. So I cloned the wrong one. Oops, sorry people, I've just changed that. Oh well. You could all see what I'd done. That's now been added to the Godot rather than the fork that I had intended it to be added to. Oh, not that. I meant to go, when I go here, I should have been able to see that my most recent fork, I should have taken this one down. The problem with this is that I can write to the main, you guys can't, so you wouldn't have been able to do that. So sorry about that, but oh well, you'll all see now that you're one behind, or you're a commit behind. And with that, I shall stop my streaming. So bye anybody on the stream. Was there anyone on the stream? Oh, there was someone on the stream. You didn't say anything, but all right. So bye people on the stream, and I'll see you tomorrow in the lecture if you're one of my students.